All right, guys, we are live here uh, with Mr. Bob Golic, and it's so funny because I put the schedule online. I'm Candy Condon, by the way, Hall of Famer, and everyone, as soon as I put
I
this,
want to be a Hall of Famer.
do you? You're not a Hall of Famer?
Well, it's too late now.
Well, I'm a Hall of Famer.
Okay, good.
But I put up my schedule, but I didn't put dates on it on purpose because you guys mess up my schedule. Every time I put up a schedule, somebody cancels. So I didn't even put up a schedule.
We're not
So
reliable.
well, I know. So everybody was like, "Well, when you guys didn't put dates?" I'm like, "I'm not even putting up dates. Y'all will see it when it's live." And so I'm so happy to be here with you.
Mhm.
And so first of all, before I even ask you any of the questions I want to ask you, you started telling me a story about some tights. So, and even then, on my way here, everybody was texting me and hitting me up and asking about Saved by the Bell. I'm like, he doesn't want to talk about that. So
Yeah,
let's talk about that.
Let's skip my entire life in high school and Notre Dame and 14 years in a National Football League, and let's start on Saved by the Bell, the college years, the show that I did. I guess my short career, the shortest career I've ever had.
Right.
I had done some shows, episode of Coach, Dave's World, some of these other ones that were on at the time, and that's how I was going out. But there's this one guy that me and him always showed up at the same auditions, and at the same time, the two of us were going for two roles that were out there. One was Saved by the Bell, the college years, and one was Friar, not the Friar, Little John in Mel Brooks, or the Robin Hood Men in Tights, the Mel Brooks comedy, and which I'm thinking that'd be kind of cool. I ended up with Saved by the Bell, the college years, and he ended up in the tights. So Eric, sorry.
That's such a great story.
I think his residuals are probably higher than mine per showing.
He
so
got paid more for being in the
possibly. But Saved by the Bell, the college years, it was it was an experience that I would never have passed up in my entire life.
That's really good.
That's such crap. No, but it was it was, you know what it was? First off, the kids in Saved by the Bell, and I know that we're all over the place, but the kids in Saved by the Bell were like 19
right
at the time. Screech was 16, so he was still a kid. His dressing room was right next to mine, and he'd always be knocking on the door. Bob, you in there? And I found out that usually he had gotten a new video game, and he wanted to play. He wanted me to play video games with him, and so at that point I'd grab the remote and turn down the TV, and I wouldn't make anybody's there. I'd say, shut up. But they were nice people and had a great time doing it. I don't know. It was fun. It lasted one season, but I don't know. Everything I did with basically involved the character, and they always wanted was a mid to late 30s ex-NFL player type, like like something that I was kind of built for.
Right.
The year after I got done playing Saved by the Bell, I got a call from my agent. He goes, "Oh my God, you're not going to believe this one." I said, "What?" He goes, "You're up for the lead in a new sitcom."
Right.
Don't remember the name of it, but he goes, he faxed me over the sides whatever I was using for the audition, and the description of the player again said mid to late 30s, ex-NFL player. Then it said like Bob Golic or Lyle Alzado. Literally said that.
Your name was the description of the character.
And I'm like, this is going to be easy. I'm going to go in. I'm going to do the audition.
I'm going to tell him I'm like Bob Golic.
I'm going to be just like Bob. I'm going to do it like Bob Golic would do it. I'm going to put on the I was going to do Pacino, but now I'm going to do Golic. Yeah. So I ended up doing it. I don't think he knew anything about sports.
Right.
I don't think he knew what a football player was. Right. But I did not get the job.
Is it possible that he didn't even know you were Bob Golic?
I called back and I said, "Hey, that's my name right there." I mean, I wasn't taking any chances. That's my name right there. And he goes, so I said, "Can I come back and do it as Lyle?" And
you are funny.
It was over. It was over.
We haven't even started, and I'm like laughing.
No, it was the weirdest thing. It was just the weirdest thing. And at that point, that's when I kind of said, I'm not going to be one of these people that are going to hang around Hollywood,
Right.
just waiting for
Right.
somebody that knows what they're doing to
Right.
go, hey, that's Bob
Bob
Golic.
Golic.
He'd be perfect for a Bob Golic character. So,
Oh my God. So tell me this. You know, you one thing that I thought was really interesting was that you did 14 years in the NFL.
Yeah.
Gosh, most of these guys today, they're lucky if they do a third of that.
mm-hmm.
So what was the secret? Was it just that back then it was, I don't want to say easier, I would never say that, but was it a different NFL then, or?
It was definitely a different NFL, and I think there's a lot of stuff that probably involves in it. I mean, these guys, face it, they don't have to play as many years to settle themselves into their life after football.
Mm-hmm.
I was raised by parents who love sports. My dad was a football player in high school. He went to join the Marines.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the Camp Lejeune football team,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and which I didn't even know they had it. And so he got done there. He ended up leaving, and he goes, I'm going to go to college. So he went to Indiana University for a year. Him and remember Tom Kuzno, the linebacker,
Mm-hmm.
played with us. His dad and my dad were like roommates in college, which we found out. Me and Tom found out later. And I guess they had a panty raid or something. They got in trouble and got one of the security. I know. I don't even know what that is. Anyway, I guess the security guy took him and hit him with a flashlight. My dad picked him up, threw him off the porch, and then they said, well, we're going to have to suspend you for a while. He said, you know what? I've been in the Marines. He goes and he went up to Canada and played up in Canada for 7 years in the CFL. But every year when I was young, I used to just go to the field with him and I just watch him run and work out. And one day when I was, I think 9, I wanted to play. And as soon as I told my dad I wanted to play, he actually went to the head coach of the grade school that I was going to and said, my son is going to play for you guys, and I'd like to be, I'm going to be your new assistant coach.
Mm-hmm.
So he loved football, and he told me from the beginning. He said, don't do it if you don't love it.
Right.
And that was something I remember. And it's a long story, but it comes around. I used to tell everybody all the same thing. Don't play the game if you don't love it, because you can't do what it takes to be successful at it if you don't love what you're doing.
That's
if you're
right.
not willing to make the sacrifices.
That's right.
We were talking before about the plays where your helmet in the middle of the play, your helmet gets ripped off, and you're thinking, okay, do I go back and get my helmet, or do I go and stick my head in the middle of Earl Campbell's chest and try and tackle? Well, you go and if you're the guy that goes and sticks your head in Earl Campbell's chest without a helmet,
that's right.
You love it.
Exactly. I was gonna say that you knew what your assignment was.
Exactly. Because who needs a helmet?
Right. And I mean, I'm just in your 3 Pro Bowls, and just looking at all your stats, and I'm because when I think about the people, like you said, the people that love it, because I think that and who are we to say that people don't love it? But I do think there are people that think about the fame. Some of these guys think, oh my God, if I can just do a couple of years and get former NFL player behind my name. But I talked to some of these guys. I just interviewed a guy who was saying that I hated it so much in the end that I didn't even enjoy. That he was hyperventilating just going on the field.
Wow.
He was saying that that's how much he was. He says he didn't even enjoy going out on the field. He was hyperventilating, and that's
interesting, because that goes along with what I said. My dad taught me, don't do it if you don't love it. But the one thing, looking back on it now from way back then, I was doing it because I loved playing, but I was also doing it because one of the things I loved more than anything was when I had something go right, like I made the Pro Bowl or I made Notre Dame's football team or what, and I would see the look on my dad's face of excitement and pride and that I thought it was just about loving playing football, but I loved doing things that made him proud. And looking back on it now, I realize that I was, kind of BSing a little bit with the whole, yeah, you gotta love the game. But you know what? I wasn't. You love it, but you love it for different reasons.
And then your brother?
My brother, yeah, I've heard of him. He was a little smart ass, and I used to kick his butt around. No, and Mike, and we had another brother, Greg, who was the biggest of the bunch, about 6 foot. Well, he was 6'8" for a long time. Now he's 6'9". The only guy that's beating gravity, and I don't know what the hell it is. Gravity's kicking my ass, but I wear heels. No, I don't wear heels, not stilettos. Maybe but they all followed. They all came to Notre Dame, and they got Greg, the tall one, had messed his back real bad. So, and he was playing offensive line, so he didn't go to the next level. But obviously, Mike did, but we all had the same thing. We all had the parents that gave us what we needed to succeed, and the father that stood there. I mean, I would go to when I was in grade school. When he became the assistant coach, when he was named by himself as the assistant coach,
self-appointed.
He bought an old tackling dummy, and he would get us in the backyard, and I can still picture, okay, put your left foot forward a little bit, and then put your right foot, so your toes of your right foot are at the heels of your left foot, and then you go down, keep your weight, and just the basics that he taught. And so every day before grade school football, we're doing offense. I'm blocking. When we played offensive line, we had to block like those little plastic football players on the vibrating football game. We're not allowed to do what they do now. So we'd hit the tackle and dummy, and then go, okay, playing defense, and I would hit it, I would tackle it, and we do it about a half hour before practice, and I'd show up sweating at practice, and the other kids are going, oh crap.
you already been there, huh?
Yeah. If Bob, they would look at me and say, if his dad did this to him, we're about to get our butt kicked.
Get in trouble, right? What do you so let me ask you this now. So the Raiders Stadium is up. I know you were Los Angeles Raiders. So how do you feel about that? Do you
kind of like it?
You like it?
I never thought I would hear Las Vegas Raiders.
Right.
I just thought it was a city, a transient city, more of a game city. And Al Davis always came across as that guy that first practice I walked off the field as a Raider, and I was just geeked. And I'm coming up, and I'm just sweating and muddy, and got a ripped up jersey. And I'm walking up, and I see Al Davis standing there. I said, "Hey, Mr. Davis, how you doing?" And he looked up at me. He goes, "How am I doing? I ain't won a blankety blank Super Bowl since '84. How the blank you think I'm doing?" And at that point, Howie Long was about with me, and he puts his arm around me. He goes, "Don't ever talk to him unless he talks to you first."
Okay.
Okay. So I couldn't fit that Raider attitude
right
with going to a city like Vegas, gaming and all that stuff. So, but it's a different era. It's a different era.
But still, I think that they still. They carry you guys here, though. I mean, you guys are part of the legacy, though.
Absolutely. And I didn't realize there were so many people that lived in the metro area around here, like 1 million people. I mean, it's a huge city.
Right.
Besides the people who are coming in.
And all of you guys are now coming here.
Instead of
They're
going to Oakland.
exactly. They are following you guys here.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And it's good. You know, LA was like that too,
Right.
in the sense that it was a transient city. Whereas when if we played the Bears or we played the Steelers, we'd have as many Steeler fans there as we would Raider fans, because people, you know, a lot of people come from the Midwest and hit the warm spots, and so it seems like it's something that's it's gonna work out. The stadium is amazing.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
I went over there the other day, and there's just so much going on over there.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. Whoever designed that, my hat is off to them. They did an amazing and beautiful job and did the city well. And like I said, this is the new sports hub. So it's this whole skyline. Everything's going to look very different in the very near future.
I mean, when the Golden Knights came in and showed that you can bring a professional team here. I mean,
Right.
this city went berserk for the Knights,
They
for the
did.
hockey team,
Mhm,
and I think at that point, if you can bring in a team that never existed before, and
Right.
and just say, hey, check it out. I mean, and support it. The Raiders should be a slam dunk.
Well, everybody's waiting for that Bears Raiders game. I mean, I got family flying every day. I get another call from of someone else in Chicago. I'm like, how did y'all get tickets? And I live here. Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. They all got tickets. And I live here, and I'm like, nobody's giving me tickets, but that's his fault.
Well,
I was like, okay.
Well, at least we know who to blame.
Exactly. You got a face.
That's a part of the issue.
Exactly.
As long as we know who to blame,
Exactly.
we know where to go. Yeah.
So you have a family legacy of football, and and we're doing the Walter Payton 21st annual event here, the Golf Classics for scholarships. So because you have a family legacy, and that's what this is about, is leaving a legacy for scholarships for young people. How important do you think that is, leaving a legacy for our young people and leaving a scholarship fund and building that?
Oh, I think it's, well, anytime you can couple a giving kids a direction, because so many kids. I mean, a couple of years ago, I had a kid coming out of college going, I took my degree was in this, and I don't know what I'm going to do. So anytime you can find a way to help find a direction, and then find a way to fund it for them, it's fantastic. So I think it's something like that is always going to be a plus.
And what are your thoughts on all the technology that's coming out, like the NFTs and I know this. You guys didn't have all that. What do you think about that? You know what I'm talking about?
The NFTs.
Yeah,
the video, the
non-fungible tokens.
Yeah, I again, the only thing that I remember that I know about non-fungible tokens is that little kid Charlie that was getting his finger bitten by his little brother. That they just made it a non-fungible token. Somebody bought it for like $600,000 or something like that. So, yeah, this whole thing it's beyond me. It's not that I'm technologically.
No, but, and I'm not going to go there because I don't want to put you on the spot that way. I'm just saying, but what do you think? Like, so Patrick Mahomes did one. It was worth all this money, and now that the NFL is of course the NFL players. But I'm saying, what do you think about it as a way for these young men to leave a legacy? Because as you put these things on on the blockchain, it's able to create money over time for, what do you think about that? Do you think it's a good way for them?
Well, I think it's fantastic. I mean, if they can, and guys like Patrick I'm sure will share the wealth and direct it into places that it's going to help people for a long time. I think one of the good, we've talked about the X's and O's and the hitting and non-hitting and all that between then and now. But we're seeing like we're getting a lot of guys coming out like Patrick, who they want to help the league. They they want to help their team, they want to help the league, and they want to help whoever they can. They see the opportunity to do it, and they're gonna go with it. And
so you played with Walter, or you guys I think shared.
He ran past me a couple times.
Right. Yeah. So you guys shared an 8-year window in the calculate that.
I appreciate that.
For you. So when you hear the name Sweetness, what do you think? What do you think about when you hear that?
Well, with me right now, Sweetness is cut back on the sugar, and
Me too.
so that's one thing. You know, he goes beyond. I mean, his nickname and all that, it was just perfect. The guy was incredible when he ran. I mean, we were talking to about some of the other running backs that have come through, and they all had their abilities. And I think I only played against them one time.
Mm-hmm.
They put, and I think they put Fridge in the backfield as the fullback, as two fullbacks, and if I remember correctly, on one play, I was about to hit Walter and tackle him, and he made a move, and I missed him, and I scrambled up to chase him, and he made another wiggle, and I missed him a second time. And at that point, I stayed down on the ground and said, if I miss him like a third time, it's going to be on video, and it's going to be like on one of those videos.
Yeah.
Hey, look what Golic did.
Right. The blooper video.
Blooper
Yeah,
video.
somebody will catch
Yeah, this is real. Can you believe this guy missed Walter Payton three times? The thing is, people would say, yeah, of course we'd expect it. But he was. I didn't know him personally. I'd met him a number of times. You know, I came across really well. But as far as his ability to play, he was something else.
My last two questions are, what would you tell your younger self now, since you look back on the league and what you see now, what you see these younger guys doing? What would you just advice, even if it was just to yourself or to someone else playing now?
Okay, if my younger me was playing now when the money was better, I'd say play as long as you can. No, I look at it, and a lot of us look back, and we see the money now compared to the money then, and it's staggering.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm getting to the point where I think my pension is paying me more than I got paid when I first came into the league.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't change my love of the game and what my dad taught me, and I think I would pass it on, because I love the game, and I want to see the game survive. I want to see the game. I want to see the game thrive.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of us do, and I think that's why we get bothered when there's rule changes that seem to be.
I hear that a lot.
Seem to be taking a little bit of the energy out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
We get frustrated because it's a game that when we played, we always believed that it was a game that not everybody could play.
Right.
And if you can, and not to sound goofy or anything, but we were warriors. I mean, we felt like we were warriors when we strapped everything on and we walked out there and we were doing stuff that 99.9% of the people couldn't do or wouldn't do. But you were gonna do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And do it for your fans who are up there cheering for you. I don't know. I would say to my younger self, have fun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what so now you where you are, and the guys that are out there now, what would you say to some of the younger guys if you just had one or two pieces of advice?
I don't know if there is any advice for the younger guys, mainly because it's a different game. Work hard. I think these guys work hard, and in the off season, I would like to see them actually in training camp have more double sessions, where they actually have to practice twice a day and hit hard, because we had to do it, and damn it, they should have to do it too.
Okay, I like that advice. You said that with your chest.
Yeah, their collective bargaining agreement says that they can only have like 8 practices where they actually have in full pads and they can actually hit.
Okay.
And the only thing that stopped us from was it too hot and humid? I mean, we always had, on the hot humid days, we always had a trainer spinning something, and we never knew what it was. But he goes, it determines the heat of the temperature versus the humidity, if it's too dangerous to practice. And we never saw what it was.
Mhm.
And we never took a practice off.
Right.
So it could have just been in something it could have been his whistle. He'd be up on top of the scaffold. Yep, nope, sorry, we're good here. So
Say it could be 200 degrees and just be too bad, huh?
yeah, exactly. No, sorry, we tried, but it's just under
under
that level.
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna be
It's
good.
1 degree under, so guys.
We used to tell, but I'll go on the other side. We used to tell the ball boys, tell us when there's a half hour left in practice, and they tell us that. And me and some of my buddies would stop drinking water, and that way, when practice was over, we'd run and throw on our clothes and run across the street to the place that had the beer, and they had big giant mugs, and they kept them in freezers, and they poured the beer, and it was slushy. It was so cold, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
So you're here today. I want to make sure that everyone comes out today because this is live. You are here today. You're signing autographs downstairs in one of my favorite casinos, which is Rampart. I actually live not far from here, and I love this place. Downstairs, you are you're actually right outside of the buffet, outside of the cafeteria, across from bingo, and across from the sports bar. You'll be here today from 4 to
2 hours, and then
4 to
2
6.
tomorrow.
Right, 4 to 6 today.
4 to 6. That's 2 hours.
Yeah,
Well,
guys.
you said 2 hours, like you couldn't figure out what 4 plus 2 was.
That's because I had one of those beers you just.
Okay. Tomorrow, 4 to 6 too?
I believe so.
Okay, and I'll post that. Make sure I post that 4 to 6 today, 4 to 6 tomorrow. Thank you so much. I enjoyed every bit of this. Everyone will be so happy that I asked you about it because I wasn't sure if you wanted to talk about the tights or Saved by the Bell or any of that.
All I know is that Saved by the Bell, the college years, was a great experience. It made me think that I was an actor, and it also made me realize that I wasn't. So,
but I love the Golic story. That's me. That's me. You
right
said
there.
act like Bob Golic. I'm Bob Golic.
That's why when I'm more auditions, and they'd go, he can't even play himself. What are you gonna do?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate
You're welcome.
you so
Pleasure
much.
again. Thank you.